Hello everyone, welcome back to Optionsmith. So what a interesting day today with the broken wing butterfly trades. I'm going to go over what happened with the trading plan, and then I'm going to talk about a few changes that are coming in the Optionsmith platform that I'm pretty excited about. So first of all, today we followed our plan, and I followed it exactly how I had laid it out after doing all the back testing. So we had the opening candle, which is right here, and I marked that with the rectangle, and then we broke above and we closed above. So what did I do? I put on a bullish broken wing butterfly, of course, and it looked like this. So these were the strikes that I had. And so as it went up, I watched a little bit. Of course, this is a pretty hands-off trading strategy, so there's only one trade for certain that happens and possibly two. But when it got up here, I'm looking for a break of structure to the downside where we would have a pullback and then a push up and then a breakthrough. So here we didn't really get that price action. It just kind of started tapering off and going back down. And so looking at it, of course, after the fact, it would have been great to have had a Batman on there. But it just didn't have that structure where we had a real pullback and then push up and then a breakthrough to change that character. It just kind of tumbled back down. And so it got back down here, and of course I'm in this bullish broken wing butterfly. It gets down to the point below the rectangle of the opening range, and I thought in my previous plan I might have put on some kind of a extra hedge to try to mitigate the loss here, but I follow this plan. I keep it sitting right here, all of my back testing data. So I just glance at that every once in a while to remind myself that we're looking at the big picture. Day-to-day profits and losses don't matter. That's the way to look at it like a professional, is just follow the plan and trust the big picture edge. And so I just let it go, and I assumed it was pretty likely here that we would end up taking a loss for the day. And I was perfectly fine with that. We moved back up a little bit, got back into this profit tent area, and then it went back down. So it was kind of an up and down, and I didn't really know where it was going to end up. Toward the end of the day, we pushed back up into this profit area here. It was pretty good, and then I was thinking, as we got this sell-off toward the end of the day, it was kind of going to be a crapshoot whether or not we would end up in profit or not. But again, I look at the data and I say it will pay off to just let it happen and let it go. And I knew at this point there was no way that we were going to get into a Batman trade because there just wasn't enough time and space for it to get up and create the kind of structure change that we would look for. So I watched in the last 10 minutes, and I still kind of have a policy where if we're in the last 10 minutes and it's moving from the profit side, and I had marked this red line where marks exactly where this middle point, the point of highest profit, was. And that's one place where I manage it a little bit. If it's the last 5 or 10 minutes of the day, if it happened to pass over that line and start heading in the direction of the risk area, I would just take it off, especially if it crossed that line and it was showing where I could take it off for a profit that would be higher than this runoff area. So if it had been higher than 200, but it was just looking pretty good. And for a moment there, I thought I might actually just pin it right there at the end of the day. We had 5 minutes left, and if it would have just pinned right here, that would have been like the perfect landing, the perfect trade. But it didn't. It finished right in here, which was still a nice 455 profit. So that will be a good profit for the day, and that will make up for any of the previous losing trades that I had this week. And like I said before, my back testing, my data was all assuming that this was lopped off and we were just going by what the runoff profit is. So when I said anything that lands and expires in this tent is gravy, we got the gravy today. So it definitely paid off, and I'm glad I just stuck to the plan. And then I was going to talk about a couple of changes that are coming to the Optionsmith platform. One thing is that before, what you may have noticed if you watched my other videos, when I would add a butterfly that is just these draft, we call these draft legs because it's just a draft for an order that we might enter, but they aren't actual positions that we have in the market. And so previously, I limited this to 4 legs because you cannot submit an order to the brokerage that has more than 4 legs or 4 specific options or a stock and option. So we call these legs. If you had more than 4 legs, it wasn't allowed. So before, when I would try to create a Batman trade, let me clear these off and just go to tomorrow's expiration so that it looks more realistic for a trade. It had this, and then I sometimes would not think about it and try to add another butterfly, and it just wouldn't add it because that would have gone over the 4-leg limit. Well, I made it so that we can have these visual only legs once you hit the 4-leg limit, and these allow us to visualize what more than one trade would look like. So I could plan ahead and say, well, if I entered 2 orders and created a broken wing butterfly going both ways, then it would look like this. And this is actually really good for these videos, these demonstration purposes. You can see that this one is darker than these 2, which means this one would be part of this order, and then these lighter ones represent the fact that they're just for visualizing and they're not part of a potential order. Now, if I were going to enter 2 trades and create a Batman trade, I would actually just submit this one by itself as an order, and then I would put this on. But this is great for visualizing. I'm in the nostalgic theme right now, which looks like this. It kind of looks like an 80s video game style graphics, which is pretty cool. And I was also going to say, if anybody has any ideas for themes that they would like to see in the Optionsmith platform, go ahead and comment below this video and just make some suggestions. We've got some pretty interesting ones so far. Dwarf mine. We've got a wireframe for the minimalist view. We've got the pastel, which is actually requested by my daughter. But so any suggestions for a color scheme that would be fun to have as a theme? I've mentioned that this trading platform is designed to be the platform that somebody like me or another trader who just really wants to enjoy using a platform, enjoy visual effects, and be able to really plan out their trades, or you might just be very nerdy about options and the Greeks and all of that, and you want to see all of that. So this platform is built for traders like you and I who like to trade options and really get into managing them and what the risk looks like. I'm also in the process of building a mini game in the platform which is, it kind of uses a chart which lets you do some sort of a scalping to smith different weapons and things like that, swords and armor, and there's a whole tree of things that you can build just to have some fun and have something in here. So if you're waiting on a trade or just trying to pass the time and you want to play a fun little game that also involves a little bit of trading skill development, if you want to gain some insight into the feel of scalping, that can be fun. I'm not going to show it yet because I'm still trying to work out the game mechanics and make sure that it's balanced and has longevity to it. It stays fun for a long period of time. So I will be unveiling that at a future date, but I just wanted to mention that. So anyhow, thank you for watching today, and be sure to tune in tomorrow. Thanks.